To be fair, I mind of it. Have I done one before? I can't remember.
No, I don't think so. I've had
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah, right, I'll jump straight into it. What is going on, everyone? My name is Joseph Reynolds, and today I am joined by your Almighty Fighting Championship champion, Mr. Lewis Mackenzie. How are we doing today?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, feeling good. And yeah, it's good to hear that. I think that's the first time I've heard that been said in an interview. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You've even got Mackenzie on the shirt as well, really representing the name today. But as well, since you did win the belt, obviously, it comes with, like, on the regional scene, a bit more attention. And I mean, it opens up other doors as well. Now that you've won one belt, gives a chance to go and get more and things like that. So what do you feel as though winning that belt is going to probably do for you during your amateur career?
Yeah, it's massive. I feel like once you win a belt, it's no longer a question of like if you're going to make it, it's just when you're going to make it. I feel like it really is like a big statement, especially like the competition in the UK. It's like definitely a big statement. I've already had like more shows reach out to me about fighting on their show for their belts. I've had like managing and sponsors and companies sort of things reach out to me, and in terms of PTs already, like flying with PTs like really has made a difference to me, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and as well, in terms of obviously taking a look back at that fight with Charlie Bama, it was a very good fight, very competitive as well. But what were some of the sort of biggest takeaways that you got from that fight? Because obviously, since moving to featherweight, you've been undefeated. Charlie Bama's a good fighter to have in that division as well. So, what were some of sort of the biggest takeaways from that fight?
Yeah, again, I feel like every fight I'm getting better. Every fight I'm showing a little bit more on the feet. I don't mean to take people down like so quickly, but I just end up doing it. And so far, nobody's really managed to stop it too much, unless I've chosen specifically not to take them down, and like then I end up shooting for whatever reason in my earlier fights. But especially my last three, which I kind of only really consider my career starting from there, really, because that's when it started to really take over. That's when I had obviously moved to IMA. I'm now 3-0 at IMA, and so I feel like just keep doing what I'm doing, because each fight I seem to be getting better and better, and showing a bit more of my game. So I'm looking, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And as well, you mentioned there, obviously undefeated since you moved here as well. And we talked about some of the biggest takeaways, but what are some of the biggest differences in you as a fighter since moving here and obviously being around loads of fighters at different parts of their journey? Obviously, some pro, some amateur, some preparing for debuts, all sorts of things going on. What was it like sort of moving to this gym and being here the last 8 months?
Yeah, it's about, it's just over a year now. It's probably been about 13, 14 months. But yeah, like I'd say the biggest difference is probably just having more people, more bodies. Like obviously Leeds is a much bigger city than where I'm from. I come from a pretty small town where there's only one gym really. So yeah, just more people to train with. There's people always in the morning, in the evening, and it's great. Yeah, like obviously, like you mentioned, a range of experience. We've got pros. We got we've got Mark Diacasey, Mateus, all that. We've got loads more as well, but just there are a few names to mention. And yeah, I feel like just the consistency of training is probably the biggest thing that's really pushed me. And also just being surrounded by a team, it's just constantly motivating you, because like if I've not got a fight, they've got a fight, so I want to be in to help them, because when it's my turn, I know they'll do the same for me. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, and obviously since moving from where you originally lived and then to Leeds, and was the sort of the move to Leeds the sole focus for MMA purposes? And if it was, do you feel as though that was another big reason you was able to sort of keep leveling up, just being in an area where all it really is for you is just here to do MMA?
Yeah, like the whole reason I moved to Leeds is purely MMA. I've not got any other reason that I would have come here. Yeah, like I was already not working in Lancaster. I was only teaching, doing the shows, and earning money through the sport. But now it's even more so. It's now more I've got more work now here in this gym. I've got classes. I've got more opportunities. We're actually going to be running an event like in a couple of weeks, like an interclub. Just like loads of different opportunities. But yeah, completely MMA focused. I'm only really getting into the work now. For the last year, really, I've just been training. I've not really been doing anything else. Kind of just been waking up, going to the gym, eating and then sleeping, and then doing that twice a day. I've been sleeping in the afternoon and then going back to the gym in the evening. It's kind of all I've really been doing, which is probably why I've like grown so much over this last year. It's just done nothing else. So yeah.
Yeah, and as well, obviously, in terms of, as you mentioned there, being able to do it pretty much year-round, full-time training, do you feel as though that's at this part of amateur MMA, when you do start to get to that a level in MMA where you're facing the top-level amateurs time and time again, do you feel as though you've almost got to start pretty much acting as though you are a professional fighter at this stage, being as full-time as you can be in the sport?
Yeah, I don't think I couldn't tell you any amateurs that I know of that are doing well that aren't training full-time. Like, at least maybe they work part-time on the side, but everybody's training twice a day. Everybody's getting in the mornings and then training again in the evenings. It just seems to what works, and it's what everyone does. I used to train I still go down every now and then, but I used to train a lot more regularly at Aspire. I've trained at MMA Academy as well with Charlie and Curtis and all that. That's what they're all doing. So I was like, well, that's clearly the path to doing well. And yeah, like I've followed and I'm working my way up, and I think you just have to be doing that. Like, this isn't really an amateur sport. Like, I don't think I couldn't tell you any other sport where people are training twice a day and then like they've sacrificed the jobs and they're doing all this sort of stuff. So I don't even really think it is an amateur sport. I think it's just a practice run for pro. So I feel like it's more of a semi-professional level that we're at. But yeah.
Yeah, and as well, in terms of obviously what you see coming up next for yourself after this, do you have a plan for wanting to be out again this year, or what would you like next to be for yourself?
Yeah, so I've got a sub-only coming up against Manny Akapan on Gorilla. I'm really looking forward to that because, like, obviously, big show. Like, it's like a runner-up for Polaris, really, those sorts of shows. And then also, like, Cage Warriors fighter, pro fighter, like, that's a big test for me. I'm looking forward to that, see how I get on. Have a little break after that, just continue, like, just enjoy my time off. I like to improve in my time off. I don't like to train, like, real hard all year round because you're just going to lose the motivation. And motivation and like the enjoyment of the sport is what's going to keep me in the sport. I feel like a lot of people work too hard and get focused on like being obsessed with working hard all the time. And I just feel like you can't do that when you're at the top. And like you've done that for 20 years or 15 years or whatever. Like, you're going to get to a point where you're like, oh, you know what, I've done this all my life and I'm a bit stuck now. I'd like to rest a bit. Whereas for me, I've been resting, I've been enjoying my life as I'm doing the fights. I feel like that's the most sustainable way to do it. But yeah, I would like to fight for another title by the end of the year. We're looking at like November. FCC do have a show 30th of November. I'm gonna be speaking to them soon. I would absolutely love to fight for their belt. It's one of the big belts in the UK to get. Again, I just want to like fight the best now. Like, I want to keep working my way up and look for that number one contender spot on number one ranking spot on Topology. That'd be brilliant. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And then just the final thing for myself is, obviously, we don't know when we'll next see you in the MMA cage after this sub-only fight, but if you could give one message for what people can expect to see next, even with the sub-only fight as well, what would that look like a little bit?
Hopefully some more finishes. I've had 10 fights now and one finish, but I feel like that kind of says a lot about the type of fights I take. I don't take easy fights. I've never taken an easy fight. Everybody I've ever fought has either had a better record than me or has like had an even record or whatever. I couldn't even really tell you, to be fair. Yeah, I think everyone's had a positive record. I don't think I've ever fought anyone with not. The only people I've ever lost to now are all undefeated as well. One of them's got a title. One of them's like ranked like really high in the UK. So like every fight I've ever had has been tough. But there's no gimme fights. But we're gonna trying to finish these people. Trying to be a bit more exciting. But yeah, like just keep going. Like I feel like I'm not the most exciting, but I do take the tough fights, and I'm very real with it. Like I'm not like here just for the Instagram and like to get a cool picture on my social media. I'm literally like, I just enjoy testing myself and being the best I can be. So yeah, hopefully another challenge, and I overcome it and improve from it. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that is everything from me. If you'd like to take a chance to shout any sponsors, things like that, obviously feel free to go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, like I've not actually got any sponsors at the minute, but if you want to sponsor me, I'm going to start looking. I used to have some, but since moving to Leeds, I obviously couldn't really keep them. I want to thank the gym, like IMA. Yeah, there we go.
What do you do?
And Liam, Steve, my housemate, who's like literally made all of this possible. Like without them two, really, this just wouldn't have happened. Dean Garnett as well. I always like to give him a good shout out. Like if you're ever in the Liverpool area, go pay him a visit. He's changed my life. He got me on the course. He introduced me to Liam. He's got me working through the sport. He got me in the game and teaching me sort of what to do and how to do it. So yeah, those guys really, and obviously all my training partners, and everyone that's helping make this become a dream a reality. There we go.
100%. Well, that's everything from me. Obviously, congratulations on the title win, buddy. Thank you very much. Cheers. Nice one, buddy.